Hey, welcome to Chapter 1, The Importance of MIS. My attempt is not to go through and take these slides and talk about exactly what the book talks about. I will usually cite slides as a background, but I intend to tell my story and those that I've worked with over the years I've worked in information systems. So you will have questions. I'll take questions out of these videos and I'll put those on your midterm and final. There'll be one or two questions from each chapter. So I hope you watch these videos and then apply these videos to your knowledge, and hopefully you can get more as we go through and talk about this. What employers want, they want self-starters, they want people that work in teams, and they want you to do your job. The study questions that we'll use this and kind of reflect off of is, why is this important? How would it affect me? MIS-related jobs. I hope some of you all may or will get into MIS or CIS or business informatics, predictive analytics. There's a lot of money in there. There's a lot of money in MS-related jobs. We're not near the dot-com bubble that we used to be near, but there's also MIS and CIS is coming back around again and providing a lot of jobs. And we'll finish up this chapter talking about security. As you all know, we are in the information age, and this is a digital revolution. Most everyone has a smartphone. I will use that as examples through here. This is called Moore's Law, and Moore's Law changes. It says that every so many years, I think probably the book says 3 years or 4 years. I think it's more, or it couldn't even be 5 years or 6 years. I can't remember now without going in and actually looking again. But I will tell you that the repetition or the doubling of transistors has changed quite a bit over the years, and your technology has increased at just a staggering growth rate. I got into information systems long before 1980, and you can see up here at $39,000 or $3,923 down to 0.001, and that's where the price performance ratio of Intel processors have come, and what it's cost over the years. So you can tell that this is screaming through this. The doubling of every 18 months, that's probably the book uses a year and a half. I would say it's probably less than a year of when it doubles now. It's growing exponentially to the point of it's getting hard to keep up with, as you all have seen. You know, I don't know if this is your most important class. I will say that for many of you all, this is the only information systems that you will get in your degree program, unless you do get into a more of a technology degree. The rest of you all business majors, you had 141 and now you have 243, and that will be it. So I will hit this pretty hard and talk about areas that I know you need to know. Again, I know you're focused on the quizzes and midterm and final. I'm focused on the knowledge you leave here with. Technology is changing. We discussed that. Job security, you'll have to know something about this. A story I got from a colleague many years ago when I was doing research for my dissertation. He asked me a question on why his daughter had graduated Western with a business degree, had moved to Atlanta, Georgia, and was not able to set up her own internet. And it troubled him. And he says, I think that you all need to put more technology. And I told him to contact the president, that we have got as much technology as degree programs will rely. But, you know, you're going to have to know more and more about this. And it's not that you won't have networking people to do the job for you. You need to know what they're doing. By virtue of you having a degree, you're going to be a boss someplace. You're going to have information systems folks work for you. You need to know what they're doing. Looking through here, you have a different way of looking at things and systems thinking. That's why you have to work as a team, because one person can't do it all. You will have to work with each other. I have no teamwork in the class. I've done teams before. They sometimes work out, sometimes they don't. But in a lower level class, it's tough. Now, upper level classes, 300, 400 level classes, I always have teams in order for them to work with. abstract reasoning, and you can get a look at a business model over here and look at the process and what's happening. You're trying to get documents out of something like this right here. That may be mind-boggling, but this is how information systems have to work, as you will see as we continue through this chapter. Being able to look at inputs, processing, and outputs, and again, you'll hear that from me quite a bit. Inputs, processing, and output. You input with a keyboard, you process with a CPU, you output with a printer or a screen. And that is a system in its most simple format. Collaboration I've discussed already. The ability to experiment. You do your experimenting in school. In your school setting, especially in your upper level classes, you ought to be able to make mistakes, because this is where it needs to be made, in a school setting, not to where you would alter your company drastically. The reason why these jobs are in high demand is because they require constant updates. If you can imagine those that are in my field, how much we have to continue to keep updated. We have to continually read and work about this. Look at the networks, how they've changed. Look at your operating systems. Look at your word processing documents and Excel and Access and PowerPoint. And then look at the systems knowledge that we have to do. It's an everyday job. So it pays well, but you're never done. Whereas you can take a job in a different discipline, and I know they're changing, but not to the rate that we're changing. We change just about every day. Every day I read something new that is changing in the field and causes us to get updated. But again, if you want to do that, if you're going to be a lifelong student, which I am, then you'll have to you'll be paid for it. It's not something you do without this. Take a look at the job growth and the rate of where it's going. You can see what's stagnant, and you can see what's growing. It's a nice model. Business is a hot field. Regardless of any discipline you're taking in the college, it's a hot field. It pays well. Business majors make more money. It's just over and over again. If you compare yourself with another type of degree, then typically outside of the College of Business, engineering pays well. I will say my son's an engineer, and they make good money. The bottom line of this is that you need to be able to understand what's going on in your company. Computers are in the company. They're programmed by a person, but now you need to understand this. It allows you to learn abstract systems thinking, and it pays well. And people in your field, it's not uncommon for a manager to make less money than someone that works for him in the MIS field. Not uncommon at all. See it all the time. All the time. Have a friend right now at church that makes more than his boss. He's in a technology field. His boss makes $10,000 a year less than he does. So what is MIS? Management Information Systems. It's really not strategies. We'll call it strategies if the book wants to call it that. I won't argue with the book, but it actually stands for systems. The management portion of it, and if you all that are management majors, and I would say half the class are management majors, typically they are, then you understand management, so I won't spend any time on this right now. The components: hardware, software, data, procedures, and people. You can actually break this down into three components. You can break this down into people and product and procedure. That's how I remember it, but if you want to keep it like this, that's fine. But we will go through each of these and talk about, now, of these five, what is the most important? By far, people. People are the ones that have to get the training, the ones that produce information. Computers do what they're told. When you say there's a computer error, the computer had an error, or it defaulted some way. If it's not a component failure, such as a resistor or a component inside the computer, a hard drive that failed, if it's not that, then it's people error, a human error. causes that failure. It's not, the computers don't make mistakes. They're adding and subtracting. It's all computers do. They take bits of information and either add them or subtract them, multiply, divide. You know, there's 7 mathematical functions: less than, greater than, equal, and the 4, plus, minus, multiply, and divide. Those are the 7 mathematical functions, and everything else is a derivative of those. And so all computers do is what they're told to do. So when they make a mistake, somebody's put something in there that's not working with the system. Information technology and information systems. We have a lot of people come into the College of Business wanting IT. We really don't do IT here anymore. We had a CIT program that we since gave to another college, and we focused on information systems. A huge difference between the two. A lot of people get those confused, but there is a huge difference. The IS is really involved with procedures. You can see the model down here. You can see what IT is involved with. When I think of IT, I think of networking, servers. I think of components. When I think of information systems, I think of business. I think of procedures in business, using people to earn more money. Achieving strategies. The strategies are you all know what they are. They are ways for us to do things better. And to strategize is to plan. It's to talk, collaborate, and plan. And then before you execute, then you have put the best amount of forethought into this. And these are some of the questions here to get for business strategies. Why are we doing this? What's the purpose of our company? What is our value added? If you buy stuff, mark up the price, and sell it, then you really have no value added. So people can go around you, and that's happened right now. If you go directly to Amazon to buy your stuff, which I do, then you've cut out the middle person. You're buying your stuff almost from the manufacturer. So going to a store, you've got a middle person, and that's why Amazon can sell it cheaper. I'm not pushing Amazon, I'm just telling you this is the different ways of looking at something. What's your role in security? You can look at this. I would say most of you all have a very simple, secure, unsecure password. If you're not using a special character, uppercase and lowercase and a number, then your password is going to be pretty easy to find. Password etiquette: never write it down, never give it to someone. And you all have heard that before. So how does this help you on what you're going to learn? You're going to learn a lot of the basics and ethics, and you'll hear that word out of me quite a bit. Being ethical and legal are they're cousins, but they're not the same. They're just cousins. You can be legal and be unethical, and there are many examples of what we do to be legal and be unethical. You go by the ATM and you ask for $10 and you get $20, and you take it. Is that legal? Sure. I don't know of anything that says you're supposed to go in and tell them that you got $20 out as opposed to 10. I think if they were to catch you, then I think all they would do is want their money back. I don't think there would be anything illegal about that. Is it unethical? Of course it is. Of course it is. It's not your money. So ethical and professional responsibility, we will have we'll talk about that in every chapter. I'm big on talking about that. It's always the right time to do the right thing. Imperfect duty of business professionals, and being ethical is, and you all, especially your accountants, you will have to You'll sign compliances in order to get your license. In order to be a CPA, you have to sign a license. You have to sign a statement saying that you'll do everything ethical, regardless of whether it costs you your job or not. And so you want to do that in every type of field that you're getting into. 5 component careers. I'll let you look at this model just a minute. There's not very much in here to talk about. There's really nothing that we can say about this right now that this doesn't give us. Why is the introduction to MIS the most important class in business school? Again, I think it's because it's the only one you'll get, and it affects everything else. As an economics major, you don't have to know accounting procedures, but you have to know procedures of MIS, and regardless of what field you're getting into. It will affect you in everything that you do. And what is MIS? We've answered that already. What is this? What is your role in information security? Mentioned passwords just a little bit. So, again, this chapter is an overview for the book. I will divulge more of this as we get through this. But I want you to understand, if you're expecting for me to go through and point out questions to the quizzes and questions to the final, which, by the way, your final is made up of the quizzes, so you ought to learn the quizzes pretty well, then I'm not going to do that. I assume you can look up your own answers when you get to the quizzes. You have unlimited, they're untimed. So what I want to talk about, how it affects you based on someone that's worked in the field for 40 years. I can tell you where it's been. It's not about me. It's about things that I've done, mistakes that I've made, areas that I've went into, areas that I've been qualified to work in, other areas that I've not been qualified, but I've learned and worked in there and slowly integrated in. So please understand it's not about me. I'm not trying to toot my own horn on here right now. So that's all I have for you. I'll get off and we'll get into chapter 2. Good day.